Hello, I will talk about the terrorist Theodore John Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber. Theodore John Kaczynski was born in 1948 and he is an American domestic terrorist and former mathematics professor. He was a mathematics prodigy but abandoned his academic career in 1969 to pursue a more primitive life. Between 1978 and 1995, Kaczynski killed 3 people and injured 23 others in a nationwide mail bombing campaign against people he believed to be advancing modern technology and the destruction of the environment. He offered industrial society and its future a 35,000-word manifesto and social critique opposing industrialization, rejecting leftism, and advocating for a nature-centered form of anarchism. In 1971, Kaczynski moved to a remote cabin without electricity or running water near Lincoln, Montana, where he lived as a recluse while learning survival skills to become self-sufficient. After witnessing the destruction of the wilderness surrounding his cabin, he concluded that living in nature was becoming impossible and resolved to fight industrialization and its destruction of nature through terrorism. In 1979, Kaczynski became the subject of what was, by the time of his arrest, the longest and most expensive investigation in the history of the FBI, in the history of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that is the FBI. The FBI used the case identifier UNABOM, that stands for University and Airline Bomber, before his identity was known, resulting in the media naming him Unabomber. In 1995, Kaczynski sent a letter to the New York Times promising to desist from terrorism if the Times or the Washington Post published his manifesto, in which he argued that his bombings were extreme but necessary in attracting attention to the erosion of human freedom and dignity by modern technologies that require mass organization. The FBI and Attorney General Janet Reno pushed for the publication of the essay, which appeared in the Washington Post in September 1995. Upon reading it, Kaczynski's brother David recognized the Post style and reported his suspicions to the FBI. Kaczynski was arrested in 1996 and, maintaining that he was sane, tried and failed to dismiss his court-appointed lawyers because they wanted him to plead insanity to avoid the death penalty. He pleaded guilty to all charges in 1998 and was sentenced to 8 consecutive life terms in prison without the possibility of parole. I will talk now about the bombings. Between 1978 and 1995, Kaczynski mailed or delivered a series of increasingly sophisticated bombs that cumulatively killed 3 people and injured 23 others. 16 bombs were attributed to Kaczynski. While the bombing devices varied widely through the years, many contained the initials FC, which Kaczynski later said stood for Freedom Club, inscribed on parts inside. He purposely left misleading clues in the devices and took extreme care in preparing them to avoid leaving fingerprints. Fingerprints found on some of the devices didn't match those found on letters attributed to Kaczynski. I will talk now about the initial bombings. Kaczynski's first mail bomb was directed at Buckley Christ, a professor of material engineering at Northwestern University. On May 25, 1978, a package bearing the Christ's return address was found in a parking lot at the University of Illinois at Chicago. The package was returned to Christ, who was suspicious because he had not sent it. So he contacted campus police. Officer Terry Marker opened the package, which exploded and caused minor injuries. Kaczynski had returned to Chicago for the May 1978 bombing and stayed there for a time to work with his father and brother at a foam rubber factory. In August 1978, his brother fired him for writing insulting limericks about a female supervisor Ted had courted briefly. The supervisor later recalled Kaczynski as intelligent and quiet, but remembered little of their acquaintanceship and firmly denied they had had any romantic relationship. Kaczynski's second bomb was sent nearly 1 year after the first one, again to Northwestern University. The bomb, concealed inside a cigar box and left on a table, caused minor injuries to graduate student John Harris when he opened it. I will talk now about the later bombings. In 1981, a package bearing the return address of a Brigham Young University professor of electrical engineering, Leroy Wood Brinson, was discovered in a hallway at the University of Utah. It was brought to the campus police and was defused by a bomb squad. In May of the following year, a bomb was sent to Patrick Fisher, a professor of computer science at Vanderbilt University. Fisher was on vacation in Puerto Rico at the time. His secretary, Janet Smith, opened the bomb and received injuries to her face and arms. Kaczynski's next two bombs targeted people at the University of California, Berkeley. The first, in July 1982, caused serious injuries to engineering professor Diogenes Angelakos. Nearly 3 years later, in May 1985, John Hauser, a graduate student and captain in the United States Air Force, lost 4 fingers and the vision in one eye. Kaczynski handcrafted the bomb from wooden parts. A bomb sent to the Boeing Company in Auburn, Washington, was defused by a bomb squad in the following month. In November 1985, Professor James McConnell and research assistant Nicholas Sweeney were both severely injured after Sweeney opened a mail bomb addressed to McConnell. In late 1985, a nail and splinter loaded bomb placed in the parking lot of his store in Sacramento California, killed 38-year-old computer store owner Hugh Scruton. A similar attack against the computer store took place in Salt Lake City, Utah on February 20, 1987. The bomb, disguised as a piece of lumber, injured Gary Wright when he attempted to remove it from the store's parking lot. The explosion severed nerves in Wright's left arm and propelled over 200 pieces of shrapnel into his body. KACZYNSKI was spotted while planting the Salt Lake City bomb. This led to a widely distributed sketch of the suspect as a hooded man with a mustache and aviator sunglasses. In 1993, after a 6-year break, KACZYNSKI mailed a bomb to the home of Charles Epstein from University of California, San Francisco. Epstein lost several fingers upon opening the package. In the same weekend, KACZYNSKI mailed a bomb to David Gallerter, a computer science professor at Yale University. Gallerter lost sight in one eye, hearing in one ear, and a portion of his right hand. In 1994, Burson Marsteller executive Thomas Moser was killed after opening a mail bomb sent to his home in New Jersey. In a letter to the New York Times, KACZYNSKI wrote he had sent the bomb because of Moser's work repairing the public image of Exxon after the Exxon Valdez oil spill. This was followed by the 1995 murder of Gilbert Brent Murray, president of the timber industry lobbying group California Forestry Association, by a mail bomb addressed to previous President William Dennison, who had retired. Geneticist Philip Sharp at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology received a threatening letter shortly afterwards. Thank you very much.